When you're in service together, you end up hanging out with the same guys. And
This is Rick Ford. He's 57 years old. He was born in New York, but moved here as a child. He carries a handgun with him pretty much everywhere he goes, also not unusual in Alaska. And of all the neighbors, probably knew Esteban Santiago better than anybody else.
You know, I try to keep a nodding acquaintance at least with all of the neighbors, so at least I know who they are. But no, there was never any precursor to this. Was there any, outbursts, or did I notice any, strange changes in personality? Or
like many combat arms veterans, Rick Ford looks at the video differently from many civilians.
Somebody that's trained highly doesn't go for headshots. He's shooting single-handed, which is not a style of combat shooting whatsoever.
There are a lot of veterans like Rick who live here. Many of them served decades in the military, which is what makes Esteban Santiago so strange to them. He's a combat veteran whose family said he had PTSD and had changed after Iraq. But his behavior is not necessarily that of someone with combat PTSD.
Everybody's really worried about where it could go if you go and you talk about PTSD or any sort of mental health issues. I worry that some incidences like this can be turned to where it's there's some problems with you come back from war and there's something wrong with you, and it's PTSD that caused this thing. I don't think it was. PTSD is, I'm no expert, but PTSD is totally different. You get guys that sit around and they talk about some of the hard things that they had to deal with, but they don't, have psychotic episodes like this. Nobody that I know ever has. Not a veteran.